I'm Sammy Ray, and I am a local CFI at Piston Aviation. Shout out to one of our major sponsors for the Air Race Classic for team number 38. I'm Sammy Ray, and I was on Team 38 Penguin Power for the Air Race Classic in 2025. My teammate is Elizabeth Minozzi. She actually lives out in Orcas Island, Washington, and she is an author as well as a pilot. So the point of the race is this was started back in 1929 with Amelia Earhart, and it was a group of women aviators who decided to fly cross country. And so in about 4 years, we're coming up to the 100th year anniversary. This year, the race started in Fairhope, Alabama, and we made it all the way to Spokane, Washington. This race got delayed a little bit by a day because of weather at the start. So when we restarted in Boone County, Arkansas, so you're not supposed to stop at any off-route airports or anything like that. And you just have to be at Spokane or at wherever the finish is by 5 p.m. Friday. So that's really the only schedule we have that we have to keep. Outside of that, everything is up to us. So I think the first day we flew 2 stops, and then we stopped for the night, and then the next day we flew like 4 or 5 stops. So we were actually able to finish the race in about 3 days, really 2.5. So all of our briefings started on Sunday. It was actually really fun just to have all the energy and to see all the other racers there. Kind of going into that with just that camaraderie was really exciting. There's just like an energy in the room. And we're all trying to win, right? Like even though we're there for fun, there's definitely a competitive spirit, but also that camaraderie that comes along as far as people checking in on us along the race. We have an air-to-air radio frequency that the FAA designates for us. And so whether somebody is literally 10 miles away from us or 3 stops away from us, we can still talk to each other. We just happen to have the privilege of flying the slowest plane in the air race this year at 145 horsepower. And so it was really interesting because going over the Rockies or going into Rock Springs, Colorado, which was one of the stops, there was a lot of planes who had already taken off and calling back like, hey, Penguin Power, you guys still doing there? You still up in the air? What's going on? And I would say my overall favorite stop would have to be Rock Springs, Colorado. They actually had the best food along the route. I know that sounds funny. But when you're flying and you're super hot and you're not doing much else, all the stops had like great hospitality and great people there, and they all had a decent food selection. But we rolled up to Rock Springs, and again another like turn and burn location for the altitude. And but we walked in and they had like 3 fridges full. At one point they had the barbecue going. And so it was just a really good, you're stopping, you're eating all this, not junk food, but granola bars, and you're just eating nuts basically. You're surviving off nuts for the last 3 days, and here comes a barbecue, and it was just like a breath of fresh air at 10 a.m. in the morning, so yeah. So the way that the scoring works is they have everyone fly what they call a handicap flight. And all that means is they're trying to figure out what is the best true airspeed for an airplane based on the perfect weight and perfect weather and all of that. So there's all these limitations and guidelines for how the handicap is supposed to be completed and performed, right? Now the other side of that though is, so let's say we get our handicap back. So our handicap was 124.6 miles per hour. Just how it ended up coming out. And so basically the whole point of the race is every leg that you're on, that you're flying, so from airport to the next airport stop, you are trying to beat that true airspeed to the best of your ability. So a lot of this comes into weather planning, cross-country planning. It also decides on how high you're going to climb versus how low you're going to fly. And so as you do these cross countries, you're realizing like, oh, I'm getting better performance if I stay lower, or better performance if I go higher over the mountains type of thing. So there's some times where we wake up right at 6 a.m. in the morning, we'd be at the airport ready to go, we take off at 6:30, and then you go to your next stop, and then you just stay there for a couple hours because you're waiting for the winds to get better and stuff like that. So for our personal team, we actually won 2 legs of the race. We won the 5th leg, which was on our way to Gillespie, Wyoming, and that leg we got 2nd place for that one. And then the 8th leg, which was on our way to La Grande, Oregon. So we flew from Jerome, Idaho to La Grande, Oregon. And on the 8th leg, we actually got 3rd place for that one. So, and overall in the race, we got 8th place. And really all that means is for our true airspeed, we had a negative 13 miles per hour. So throughout the whole race, while we never went over the 124.6 that we were trying to, we were only 13 miles per hour below that airspeed. Whereas like the first place winners, they actually beat their airspeed by, I want to say, 10 or 12 knots. So again, every plane performs differently, but it also depends on how you are planning your cross countries and stuff like that. This teaches you so much about crew resource management, things that, you know, we as pilots, especially in general aviation, we fly a lot of single engine. And so we learn about CRM, but you never really get to put it to use. And so just the way that our dynamic worked is she acted as pilot for most of it. And so she was in charge of doing all the flybys and, you know, keeping us at the right altitudes and power management and stuff. And I was mostly in the navigation. So I was doing navigating, I was doing weather planning, all that type of stuff. 30-second advice. Yes. Get a sponsorship. We were lucky to have Piston Aviation as our sponsor. So they were helpful with us for getting us, you know, certain clothing items, money along the way, for fuel and stops. Get a partner that you can relate to and have fun with, and don't take it too serious. Like, just go and have fun and do the best that you can do. I think the biggest thing there is like, don't take it personal. It's just flying.